welcome to Moonhawk Studios Presents. God, I didn't even remember what show it was.
Are you sure you're sober?
Sober, effed up, it doesn't matter. I am your host, Mac Paladin, and with me in the studio, as always, is my good friend Adam.
Did you remember to account for the ad roll?
I'm watching them as we speak. And it is just now ending. So, proceed.
All right, hello.
Kevin is in the house.
Yes, welcome to the show, everybody. I don't know how much of the intro you got because you got a wonderful commercial communication.
If only you had subscribers.
Yeah. I know September is over, but hey.
September.
September, yes.
Give us money.
Now it's Subtober.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now it's Simptober. Wait,
Why
no, hold on.
Double, right? Yeah, I was going on the
Why
same
does that sound
direction.
like a Subway promotion?
Subway sounds good to me.
Anyway.
That was a combination of things.
Yeah.
Penny fan on technicals, such as it is.
I have not blown anything up this week. Yay!
Knock on the wood.
Through the tubes. It's a series of tubes.
We'll deal with tubes later.
And deciding what hat to wear, the Golics.
Today is floppy. Because I'm playing a Zelda game.
Oh, nice. So one would say you were wearing a Minish cap?
You could.
Anyway, we got a great show for you tonight, we hope. And without too much further ado, Adam, why don't you lead us off with the news?
Well, I suppose the news is not news. That is to say, the hurricane. In my area, it did minimal, if any, damage. Like, I think the worst, at least the neighborhood got, was some fallen tree branches that had to be gathered and, put out on the curb.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, that's good.
Yeah, it's better than us talking to an AI reconstruction of his corpse.
Or, dealing with a broken window or all of the broken windows, etc., etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that one influencer that I was watching, and he has this bit where he does all the generations, starting with boomers, and then moves on to Gen X and millennials, and it gets to the millennial, and the millennial says, "If I just stood outside here, you think the wind is strong enough to just, take me away and never be seen again?"
Don't I know that mood?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep.
Anyway, Kevin, over to you. How did you fare against the hurricane?
Well, believe it or not, we managed to get spared here too. The forecast was looking like this was going to literally come right over us up until the end, but as you have seen from the images out of western North Carolina, the mountains over there, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
We got a cold front come over us, and it steered Helen up over there, and yeah, they got screwed up really bad, and a lot of places in that region probably won't ever be rebuilt.
Yeah, a friend of the show, LGR, his property got real messed up.
Where's LZR from?
The North Carolina area. He posted some pictures, and his house had a tree fall on it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
he got relatively spared, but his collection room is destroyed. Because he does computer stuff, so...
I
hope everything gets sorted out for him, but yeah.
So yeah, if you're if you want to help them, go and help them through the various charities and funds that have been set up, and Yeah, that place is gonna have to be dealing with the aftermath of this for a good long time,
Yeah, because
years.
unlike Florida, North Carolina is not built to withstand a hurricane.
No, and especially not something like that when it has like 2 to 3 feet of rain.
I mean, Tucson's not built for tornadoes, yet we had one in July. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. But yeah, in terms of us here in the Atlanta area, we got lucky. Which it wasn't looking good until like the very day it made landfall. When you see it went to the northeast upon landfall, like, oh, okay.
Weren't you on
So
voluntary evacuation orders for a while?
me, no, I no, not down here. Like that would never happen
I know
over
there
here
were
in the
some
Atlanta area
spots
unless
along Helena's path that did have voluntary evacuation orders.
that was more in the Big Bend area, like in
Mm,
the areas where it would really get smoked. But like when it comes inland, it's like you don't expect what happens to happen.
yeah,
So you
because
don't get
usually they run out
evacuations
of
this far
steam before
inland.
they get out of Florida.
Right, exactly. Or at the very least, when they come all the way up here towards the northern parts of Georgia,
Right.
upstate South Carolina, western North Carolina, that area. So, but yeah, I mean, so that's probably the only major tropical system we're going to have to deal with because we got a full like a month plus to go here. But this is the part of the year where the tropics pretty much shut down in terms of stuff that happens over here.
Mm-hmm.
So thankfully that's the case. Work's gonna get busy here over the next couple weeks. Halloween's coming up. We're starting to put our Halloween decorations up around here, so that's always fun. And well, other than that, that's pretty much my news. So, Patty, what's going on in your world?
Oh God, what isn't going on? So after the show last week, like Thursday morning, I found the floor of my laundry room flooded. Turns out the supply line to the toilet broke. Luckily, it was just the valve. But yeah, my dad had to take a day off work, and me and him had to play plumber. I never want to be a plumber.
you
So
have
yeah,
your laundry room and the bathroom, just to clarify.
no, they're separated by a wall.
Ah,
But yeah, water was flooding from the wall. That's how we know shit was fucked.
thank God we're past the first 5
I
minutes.
looked at the time before I said, like, oh, we're 8 in. I can cuss now.
Everybody's just like bottling it up until the 5-minute mark, and then it's like, you know.
But admittedly, if you saw water running from your wall, fuck would be the least problematic thing coming out of your mouth. Am I wrong?
What was that bit on Game Changer or Make Some Noise or whatever where Sam says don't flinch and a body falls out of the sky?
Yeah, basically.
He's like, if a body falls from the sky and I don't curse, check up on me. Something's wrong.
Basically, yeah. So yeah, that was an experience I never want to have again. Mostly because, for those of you who don't know, I have physical disabilities. And I had to the bathroom so small, I had to kneel in the bathtub to help point the light so my dad could get the tools in there to replace the valve. So that was painful, and I never want to do that again. And then we have the company coming to close the pool next Monday. So yay! It's too cold to swim. But at least it's going to be fairly cheap. I think, like, for a new cover and stuff, we paid like $200 something up front, and then we just have to pay for labor after. Which, that's not terrible to get a pool closed. The other company we called, they wanted $500, so I mean, I'll take it. And currently kind of miffed with USPS and or TCG player sellers. I'm getting ready for the Iowa Digimon card game regionals, and there are some cards I'm looking for my deck. They're not here yet. So the seller on TCG Player is basically not going to refund me until the 8th if they don't show up, which they probably aren't, unless they lied about the send date, which not unheard of. So I either need to hope they show up, or I'm going to have to completely reformat my deck again. So that's going to be... So yeah, that's really all that's been going on here for me. So Gullix, unless he muted himself.
Yeah, because otherwise stuff is audible.
Fair.
I've gotten my car sorted out. I have a new car. I'm taking it tomorrow. I'm taking a half day from work to go get it registered because the town hall isn't open after I get out of work. And I work afternoons, so I'm usually asleep in the morning. So that's good. And then after that, next week I have a meeting at the chest medicine place to determine if I'm worth doing a home sleep study to figure out if I have a sleep apnea problem or something like that can have something can be done of. So that will be interesting, I'm sure.
As somebody who uses a CPAP machine, it's not as bad as a lot of people say. It's mostly a mild annoyance.
Other than that, not a whole lot going on with me, I don't think. Video game-wise, I'm playing Zelda Echoes of Wisdom and have also been playing a bit of Splatoon 3 to, keep from getting too rusty at the Splatoons between games.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's about what I got.
All right. Well, nothing but fun going on here at the old place with the palm trees.
The fake palm trees?
No, they're real. They
Okay.
just don't do real well in the desert.
I was about to say, you live in a desert. Don't palm trees not do very well out there?
Well, for God's sake, man, there's palm trees all over Tucson. If you get high enough up above the city, you can see exactly how many palm trees there are across the landscape of Tucson. And the amount of palm trees that exist in Tucson are shocking. Shocking, considering we're spread out over 286 miles of 2,200-foot elevation desert.
Yeah.
Mountainous. So I have no idea why anybody thought that those water guzzlers would be a fantastic idea to decorate our fine city, but here we are.
That's mostly why I was like, why the hell are there palm trees there? They need a lot of water.
I don't know. Apparently sometimes they catch on fire, so they have to be real good about grooming them.
I'm
all
hearing more and more reasons why there shouldn't be palm trees in Tucson.
Yeah, sometimes they'll just spontaneously combust.
Sounds like me some days.
They have to trim them at least twice a year to make sure that they don't catch on fire. So there's that. They are finally doing the work on rebuilding the apartment next door and the other ruined apartment.
I was about to say, weren't the two apartments next to you also damaged when you had your little flood excursion?
Oh, this place has been a jungle safari for the last 15 years. And what's funny is every 3 years they gaslight me and say, oh, no, it's only been empty for like 5 years. And I'm like, honey, I've been on this property for 13 and this place has been abandoned.
And then you find out there are bodies.
Well, it was some old geezer who apparently chain smoked like 5 packs a day inside the apartment.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And then they apparently had to sue him for damages after he left, which he still hasn't paid and is in the winds, probably deceased.
I was about to say, he's probably not around after 13 years.
The neighbors upstairs in 210 were a lovely couple, a dude a dude named Ken and his wife Trish. I call her the hostage wife because she definitely was there against her will. Just a horribly abusive relationship, and they were there for like 21 years, and they were cat hoarders.
Oh, fine.
Which is funny on the second floor because their cat resulted in the cats being in my backyard all the time. And yeah, so I'm not looking forward to having neighbors on that side. But I am looking forward to having a lot less mold and roaches due to them finally sealing up that apartment.
Fair.
Also the no longer having the existential threat of hornets moving into the closet next door.
Oh god, yeah.
Because there's like a bunch of quote unquote dead nests, and you know what that means. That means that they could be reactive at any time because hornets are the kind of, I don't remember the name for this kind of critter, but they're like hermit crabs where they'll just find a pre-existing hive.
Yeah.
And move in. So yeah, and there's big holes in the walls in there. And one year you could actually hear them buzzing.
Oh, fun.
I almost did the TikTok gasoline trick. But I was advised by my attorney that might cause significant property damage. So I refrained. But I did douse it with Raid on a repeated basis when I still had access to that apartment. They subsequently, after 5 long years, rebuilt my fence. Which is good because that means I no longer have random assholes coming through my backyard unauthorized.
Yeah, fucking tell me about it.
Oh, well, we're just going to operate a chainsaw outside your bedroom window while you're sleeping in mid-September.
We've had people coming down our property thinking it's an alley and then jumping fences. I'm like, bro.
I told this dude that was out there giving me attitude, I said, step 2 feet back behind the property line between the apartments or I'm going inside and getting my revolver. And he dropped the whole stop being disrespectful to me, bro line as soon as I said that. I said, I'm invoking castle law, and if you don't back out of this property without written permission to be here, I'm authorized to open fire.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're standing there with a menacing look on your face holding a chainsaw.
Yeah.
And he went, oh. Like, take that, Gen Z. How about that for getting off my lawn?
And then you went back to shaking your cane at clouds later.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I had to have something to yell at.
Or else they'll think you're crazy.
I'm very personally aware of who I am and what I am, okay?
I even have the cane.
Listen, I don't give a damn what they say on social medias about Gen X. I am kind to service workers, okay? Just not ones who are trespassing. So that was fun. And I'm not looking forward to having neighbors on 2 sides because what I don't need is a family to move in there with kids and then have them going in the private common area. Notice how I said that. There is a downstairs area where kids are not supposed to be running and wailing, and yet they used to, until I finally opened the door and said, you kids aren't supposed to be playing down here. You're not even supposed to be playing unsupervised in the quad. Get out of here. Go like swim in the pool or something. I didn't say something much more horrible. I'm just like, just get out from by my window. I'm trying to sleep. I work at night.
Yeah.
So that was fun. Switching to more positive things, I'm actually making significant progress on part 3 of Starship Moonhawk episode 1. I'm going to have to improvise the mouth flaps or something that I want to do because the process that Kira taught me was beyond obtuse. So 12 years ago, some dude wrote a JavaScript, some dude named Adam, A-T-O-M, not A-D-A-M, wrote a JavaScript that automates the process of transferring DAT files from Papagayo instead of into Moho, which it was written for, because it was written by the Moho team, or rather members of the Moho team. Wrote a script that you could automate the importation of lip flaps into Adobe After Effects. It was written for CS3. I have CS6. They are on CC 2025 now, which is like, what, 8 versions newer? 12 versions newer? I don't even know anymore. So I have the script, but I have no idea how to use it because the video tutorial that was made 12 years ago to accompany this script file is it's available on Vimeo, and it doesn't have all of the information available. Apparently, Varius had learned how to reverse engineer this for less than 10 mouth flaps, because we were working with 3 and 4 to try to speed up the process. And I have no idea how to reverse engineer her reverse engineering. I looked at the Adobe After Effects files, and they are completely obtuse. I'm like, okay, so I have a null object. There's a script here. There's some kind of code that references something that doesn't make sense. She taught me how to do this stuff 4 years ago, and I have no clue. And as you all know, for various reasons, we are not speaking. So getting any lost assets from the animation and figuring out how to do this whole process is just a non-starter. So I have to start from scratch and teach myself how to animate. So that's what's holding us up right now, is the fact that I'm probably getting overly ambitious. I'm probably going to do something manually using Photoshop Animate. Make a GIF file and then insert it into the or an MP3 or MP4 file. That's what it was. Yeah, CS6 has the ability to export to MP4. CS5 had that ability to MP4, and then put it in there, and then hope to God I can green screen it in place. Which I'm not excited about because I have to do this for 5 shots. Which means I have to manually time out all of the keyframes.
Mm-hmm.
So, for those of you in the know, you're probably groaning and putting your face in your hand. The training video on how to do this in Moho is in Portuguese.
Sounds about right.
And the one person that I know that could teach me how to do Moho lip flaps is only semi-available. It's a good friend of mine named Nathan Bonner. He's done. He's actually doing his own animated series of his webcomic in Davo. Season 3 of that is, I guess, finally happening, and so he's busy with that and job and school related stuff, and so he's burning the candle at both ends. So I try to use his assistance as minimally as possible.
Right.
So I'm just kind of muddling through this whole thing. I have all of the tools necessary. It's literally just a matter of stopping my regular work and bill paying long enough to actually absorb it without having an aneurysm. And the reason this is important is because the last chapter sort of went kind of viral. We're at 3,400 views and 111 likes, which is huge for me. 47 new subscribers to the channel. We're inching back up to 1,000, so we'll re-achieve partner on YouTube very soon, which will make uploading the old broadcasts of this show even more important, because we need a regular stream of content coming in once we get back to partner, so we can actually help finance future projects.
Mm.
And I'm trying to find other stuff to put up on there to kind of make things work. But that's kind of what's going on right now. Other than that, our Dollar Tree that replaced the 99 cents only store is open. So, and this one has way more merchandise than any other Dollar Tree I've ever seen across the entire southern United States.
Mm.
And I'm talking from California all the way to Florida. This is the biggest Dollar Tree I've ever seen.
Fun.
But yeah, so let's get to the real thing here. Come on, mouse pointer work. So tonight we have Andrew McDaniel and Mikey of Security Check, a Digimon TCG podcast. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Yay!
And I appreciate your patience while we got everything going here. Tell us a little bit about yourselves and your podcast.
So the Security Check podcast started out as a pipe dream for me when the Digimon TCG came out. Me and my buddy Jordan were going to start it up, and then the lovely COVID hit, and we both work in retail, so we didn't get the time to really do what we wanted to do with it. But I had ran into Mikey a couple times. He is a vendor that works at one of the stores that I was working at, and I was like, "Hey, dude, we're playing this card game. You want to play?" And then it kind of re-sparked the podcast. We started doing that. We got pretty heavy in it for the past little bit, but here recently we've kind of been on hiatus. But you can check us out, the Security Check podcast, cataclysmicgamers.com, and you can find me over on TikTok streaming Digimon content usually.
All right. Well, that's a great introduction. And now, to the meat of the process, I turn you over to our resident experts.
Alright, that would be us. So I guess what got you guys started in the Digimon card game? Did you come from another game, or is it just like longtime Digimon fans and saw a game was being made?
So for me, I played Yu-Gi-Oh! For the longest time, like 2011. Then I got married and moved really far away from everybody that I was playing with and kind of dropped it. When we moved back, I picked up Pokemon with my buddies, but Jordan had messaged me one day and he's like, "Hey, there's a Digimon card game coming out a couple months," and we went and printed off the proxies of the Japanese cards and started playing, and I'm just stuck with it.
Yes, the dreaded period of before they had. Okay, I'm getting to the fact that we're still behind by like 3 sets, and they've tried to fix this repeatedly, and it hasn't fixed.
It's coming slowly. It's coming.
Tell me about it.
Unification will be here.
Yeah, one day. The Heat Death of my universe might come first, but it'll be here.
I guess I'll feed off Drew there. I played Dragon Ball Super before. My card games before this, like way back in the day, were the actual original Dragon Ball Z collectible card game. I don't know if any of the listeners or you guys remember the old one that was made by...
I have some of those in my old cards binder. I never played it, but it's like...
I know they've done at least 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first time, I forget who made it, and then Panini?
I think the first one was Top Deck. I could be wrong.
Maybe, yes. Yes, now that you said that. But I played that, and I was actually getting, like I said, I played Dragon Ball Super. It was really expensive, and COVID had just hit. And I ran into Drew, and he was like, he was talking about it, and I hadn't seen him ever. And then he was like, you know what? Digimon. I was like, oh, I've heard about that. I like Digimon as a younger adult child. I guess I was a little bit older when Digimon was kind of getting big, but my little brother was into it. And then he goes, "Yeah, we got a podcast." And then COVID hit, and I couldn't get cards. So for the longest time, I just stuck with Dragon Ball Super, and then we finally got into Digimon, and then that's been my number one card game for the last, I guess, 2 years.
Yeah. I miss going to locals.
I feel you.
So like, what started your whole podcast journey? Was it just like fill dead air or like fill dead time or?
Yeah, well, when I first wanted to do it, my initial plan was to just get interview guests on and talk to people that were coming from other card games and kind of learn about their background and what direction they were taking as they went into Digimon, because there's so many, even now, there's so much variety.
Yeah.
With
I
play
was similar
styles
to
and
you. I
stuff.
started with Yu-Gi-Oh! And then just kind of take a break from card gaming for a bit because there wasn't anywhere to play. And I was like, hey, wait a minute. There's a local card game shop and they have a Digimon card game. Sign me up!
Yeah, so I just wanted to reach out to the community, and that's kind of how we've stuck with it, is just being active in the community.
So are you like... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I'm mostly a Digimon fan and much less generally a card game person. I played the Pokemon trading card game a little bit and was playing Force of Will for a while because there was a group at the local game store, but yeah, that stopped happening once you couldn't do trading card games in public, so...
So, are you guys mostly like interviewing like the community? Do you like do your own like deck profiles and stuff like that, or is it more just community interviews?
Most of our stuff has just been us rambling about different things that are going on. But most of the interviews have been people that have found us through different channels. A lot of people on TikTok that have found my TikTok and then just kind of joined our Discord server. And then we've got some of the bigger frequent posters in the Facebook group on. We've had them on.
I'm guessing DigiPan is in there.
No, Kelvin Tran, he posts the memes all the time. That's kind of our train.
Yeah.
We play I specifically play the janky, like, off-meta decks that nobody really touches.
Same. Black is my main color.
Yeah, so...
I'm the gross sweaty player.
Yeah, Mikey's the sweaty player.
I am kind of now. I'm going to be bringing a Dex Dorogoromon deck to the Iowa Regional, so...
Let's go!
Yeah, hell yeah, brother. Let's show Imperial Demon to be very terrified of. I have the one out to 7 Demon Lords of Dogomon. I'm like, please let me do it. Let them be dumb enough to let me pull this off. I want to watch the light leave their eyes.
I've tried the 7 Demon Lords deck on the fan app thing, and it's very weird.
It's an acquired taste. It really is.
I mean, you kind of get enter effects and nothing else for the first couple of turns, and give the opponents a lot of memory. Because it takes like three turns before you can get the gate to decrease cost enough to play a 7 Demon Lord and have health left.
Memory, yeah.
Or memory left, sorry. As previously stated, I am also playing Zelda.
Yeah, I got him and a former member of the show, Ogre, into the card game.
I was already into it.
Yeah. So
I'm a long-time Digimon fan, so
yeah.
I just got into the card game because I wanted to make them keep doing it, because the art is really nice and it's something to keep getting Digimon content while they're, in between doing really weird other stuff.
Indeed.
And now even the serialized story content is card game based.
But I feel like at Yu-Gi-Oh, I mean, every other we needed that kind of for Digimon because we had the shows, we had the video games. So I actually like Liberator, but I'm kind of like you. I love Digimon, so I just wanted to, and I get hyper fixated. So any content I can absorb.
I'm pretty sure everybody in this Discord.
For what it's worth, I don't even mind Liberator. The only issue I have with Liberator is the pacing.
Yeah, it's set to be a weekly show, weekly manga coming out every 2 weeks, and it drives me insane.
Also, every other week is only like half a chapter.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the novel itself is just as bad. It's bigger things, but it's even less common.
It honestly, if it was coming out weekly, that the half chapter wouldn't be as bad. It's the problem that it's every 2 weeks getting half a chapter. But I digress on that one.
Mm-hmm. I just enjoy that they now have an outlet to drop more new Digimon because my boy Tyrannomon just got his new level 6
non-robot Mega,
yeah,
and just the new tamer and just it's going to be fun for Tyrannomon decks. Who knows? You may be turning into a sweaty meta player yet.
Yeah,
I'll get my chance.
I mean, that was me with Alphamon. Went from haha funny big robot to oh my god, he's going to destroy the BT 9 and 10 format.
I mean, Alphamon's always been a heavily promoted Digimon whenever it shows up.
He's just kind of like the Dark Omnimon.
I mean, literally, yes.
Although, really, I was going to say he has the downside of not being able to be buffed up by an X-antibody version, but they do that with Oryuken instead.
Yeah, so. he jogresses instead of just, he is X-antibody. So
yeah, he already is X-antibody. That's what I meant.
Yeah. So I guess we kind of touched on this, but are you guys like also fans of like regular Digimon at large and stuff like that?
You go ahead, Drew. Go ahead.
I remember it as a kid, and I like holding on to that. I haven't seen all the try. We went and watched the movie in theaters together. Like all four of us went, and that was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have the attention span to sit down and watch movies and stuff like that. Yeah. So I like the webcomic and the short stuff.
Have you messed with any of the V-Pets or anything like that? Or is it just like anime?
I've got one of the V-Pets sitting on my desk, but I don't really do a whole lot with it. I had the watch for a little bit.
Dead.
Yeah, I had the watch for a little while, but while I was working, it would just hit something and fall off. So I ditched it. I want an app that can be my little AI buddy.
Well, they've just ripped the first two of the original V-Pets.
Yeah. So theoretically, there's nothing stops somebody from making an actual app emulating them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, other than Bandai being like, "Hey, wait
I was about to say,
yeah.
Other
than
doing
Bandai. Unofficially.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also nothing stopping Bandai from releasing an official app, but we'll probably be getting into them later.
There is something stopping Bandai. It's their urge to release 14,000 different card games on every IP they own.
Trust me,
Gundam's coming, baby.
Yeah. Union Arena's already here, and I'm looking at the Bleach stuff like, God damn, my wallet's crying already. No.
Well, they just announced the Gundam, too.
Yes. I'll look into getting some of the G Gundam cards if there are any.
That's right, baby. G Gundam.
Oh yeah, I still need to finish my real grade God Gundam. Damn it. There's not enough hours in the day. Can someone just like give us like 3 more hours in the day, please?
That's the way I feel about the card game in general, because I dabble with Pokemon. TCG's like cardboard crack.
Oh yeah,
I play so many. It's because growing up, I'm pretty sure you guys would understand this. Before Hearthstone and MTG Arena and all this stuff, that was my main interaction and why I played card games was to go hang out with people. Other than D&D, that was my go-to. So, that's what I think really hurt Digimon in the beginning was we wanted to play and we had the cards, so the only thing we could really do was webcam events. So,
unless you're lucky enough to have a local card shop in your area.
And I mean, we don't even have a local card shop for where we live. It's a 45 to 50 minute drive one way, and then that's our real locals is what we go to. And then there's a city close to us. For me, it's closer for me. It's about 35 to 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the main reason we play. And Digimon is cheap. So if anybody's listening, if you want to get in, you'll look at some of the cards and be like, this is expensive. But compared to Magic, like I've got Commander decks that probably are more expensive than my entire Digimon collection.
You could build a Digimon. You could build a competent meta deck for under 150, and that's even putting some alt arts in there.
Yeah, some of the alt arts and special cards are rare, but are expensive, but
they are outliers and not needed.
And they don't generally have any unique mechanics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was lucky, and from my first box of Liberator set, I got the alt arts, or the SP alt art Zafagamon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I pulled,
and I'm still haven't done anything with that, but I'm debating it.
For my Secret Crisis box, I pulled Gallantmon Crimson Mode SP.
Let's go.
I had to sell it, though, because money problems.
Oh, same, brother. I've sold so many cards. That's something, though, too, as you mentioned earlier. Now, one thing, until One Piece, but Dragon Ball Super and Digimon, Bandai nailed it on the artwork. They are some of the most beautiful cards, especially the SPs, the alternate arts, as some people call them.
Cards are better than some of the Pokemon and just other card games. They put Magic to shame, even on their super high class, ultra rare cards. And it's just their commons are amazing.
And I think that's one of the biggest appeals. Even because I collected Pokemon because I more than played it. And then when my kids, my daughter, she's fixing to be 9, she's dabbled with it and started wanting to play and wanting to learn Pokemon. But before that, I just collected Pokemon, and then when Digimon came out, I played it, but I can totally see why there's just people that collect this card game, because it's beautiful.
Adam, you were going to say something?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
I have nothing to say.
Yeah, it's your thing lit up. All right. But yeah, it's just honestly, I've even looked at some of the even alt arts. I was showing a friend of mine who wasn't really into the game the alt art for Apollomon, and he was like, "Dude, that could be a hell of a metal band cover." So yeah, just the art in general in Digimon is great. If nothing else, anybody out there, just go look through the art. It's amazing. Also, start playing the game. We need more people playing Digimon. Come for the art, stay for the gameplay.
Yeah, you can't beat the memory gauge.
What are your guys' thoughts on the memory system and just the systems of the game in general?
That was one of the key things that brought me in and is keeping me, because it's a function that it's like chess. You determine how much you're giving your opponent, unless they have a memory setter or whatever. But you're deciding how their play is going to go from that aspect. And that's hands down my favorite part.
Also, it's not a resource that's muched into the deck and randomly accessible, and it doesn't require a bunch of cards that are super boring because they don't do anything aside from provide resource. Can you tell that I have a little bit of annoyance with Magic the Gathering and Pokemon?
Thank you. Yes. Well, that was one of the things when, I don't know if you guys know this, but, so Dragon Ball Super got remade again.
Yeah, this is their third reboot of the game?
Yes, of just Dragon Ball Super. So yeah, and I got kind of perturbed because people were like, "Oh, it's like One Piece," and I'm like, "Well, no, not really. One Piece has the Dawn deck. Dragon Ball Super is still doing the thing because for everybody out there and the rest of the crew here, Dragon Ball Super, you would play one of your cards upside down as your energy or your so you would have to expend your resources there. That's what makes Digimon wonderful. Is like we said, the memory gauge, like you were talking about 7 Great Demon Lords. They don't manipulate. Well, we're starting to manipulate the memory gauge some, but 7 Great Demon Lords, Royal Knights, you give you give tons of memory, but you gain hopefully, if you play your cards right, gain so much ground off giving up that much resource to your opponent.
And especially if your opponent isn't able to respond, oh no, they've just passed you to 3 and done barely anything, and you're about to steamroll them.
Oh yeah.
And then, like, there's other things like the Digi-Egg system and just the whole Digivolve system, because I know when I was starting, I had a hard time remembering, oh, right, I need to draw when I Digivolve. And
yeah, I have noticed a bit of what you might call early game jank in terms of some of the mechanics that have developed to work a little bit differently than they were intended originally, but it's
also
nowhere near
Digiburst.
Yeah, it's nowhere near as bad as Yu-Gi-Oh, but
yeah. So I guess, have you guys done like any competitive events, or you guys mainly stay local?
We went to the where was it at? The North Carolina Regional. I think it was in May. We all packed up. We went over there with a couple of other buddies. Wholehearted.
Yes, the legendary card game road trip.
Yeah, it was a good time. We all scrubbed out, but we actually ran into Kelvin Tran, who had been on the podcast. We got to meet him there, and then we met a couple people. We met a bunch of people. We were handing out cards that our buddy Wholehearted had made for us, and we were handing out podcast cards to promote it, and people were like, "Oh yeah, I already listened to you guys," and it was like a very surreal
one
feeling.
Of those weird things where you do an event of something that pertains to your podcast, like, "Oh yeah, where are you listening?" You're like, "Huh?"
Yeah, like we had a guy. He does a podcast, Ex Antibody, and he had come up to us and he's like, "Oh, that's you guys? Can you sign my playmat?" And I was just mind blown.
I would imagine.
Oh, I was about to topple over because my head was getting so big that I couldn't do any side events or anything. I was like, "Oh man, people know who we are."
Yeah. And then, trying to think of other stuff like.
Well, no, wait. Have you guys done any? Because Bandai, that's a good topic. Bandai is notorious to host online regionals. I just throw money at Bandai.
Yeah.
$30 a pop to just play over webcam.
I haven't done any online events, but the Kansas Regional in July I went to.
I don't really play competitively. I just mostly, partially because it's my local place that doesn't do it at a very convenient time for me usually.
In Maine, so good luck finding enough of a scene to make it actually competitive, basically.
We do have some, but not a lot.
Yeah.
But I can't do most of it because of the time, so
right.
I still make a time to go to pre-releases, but I can't play weekly, so I'm definitely not good enough for competitive. Yeah. Plus, also, I have thematic brain fungus, so I can only make decks that involve like the actual
the quote-unquote canon.
Not even that. I don't like using options that are unrelated to the.
Yeah.
So you're a Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yu-Gi-Oh still does this. But yeah, I don't like including really out of nowhere Digimon, like when you know how it is with freaking Shine Greymon Ruin mode being splashed in everything that can use those colors.
Yeah.
Just because it has a really useful blanket removal effect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that, and I don't like because most of the option cards are moves that belong to particular Digimon, and I have a hard time going too far outside of what seems reasonable to be thematic with the actual thing. Because the colors are approximately thematic.
Yeah, the colors closely correlate to most of the Digimon fields from people who know the older, like...
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, first off, it includes Dragon's Roar, which wasn't a field originally, but yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm the polar opposite. I will smash whatever I can together to make the craziest combinations.
Meanwhile, I'm over here looking at my kind of Mirage Galaxy deck, like, if only I get the rest of you. Because Lunamon's my favorite, so, you know, any excuse to pull that out is appreciated.
Blue has really weak theming.
Yeah.
It's means 4 different things. I mean, mechanically, it's fairly consistent in terms of the stuff about manipulating your opponent's number of evolution materials and...
Yeah, materials and hand size is what they're kind of known for now.
But you got your water stuff, you got your ice stuff, which is sometimes not the same as water stuff, especially now that Ice Clad is a thing. You got your sometimes just generic beasts, although a lot less of that lately. It mostly crops up when there's a Garurumon or a Gaugamon around.
Yeah.
And then wind and sometimes birds.
Mm-hmm.
At least green is usually stuff that's generally nature, but that still is split into...
bugs and veggies.
It's bug plant is usually together in Digimon, and that's the main nature element. You also get beasts in green, some dinosaurs in green, because those are the wild animal part.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes you get literal earth elemental stuff. But sometimes the earth elemental stuff is in black, because black is mineral and defense.
Indeed.
I do think that's something that Bandai did well with this is I always try to describe it to people I usually ask, what do you play in Magic? Because it does seem to go kind of for instance, if you green Stompy, green kind of does that same thing, big bodied monsters or you swarm the board with plants, in
used
Magic.
To be about growing fast, but that didn't.
Yeah.
But that didn't work so well. Turns out it's a little bit overpowered in this game.
Yeah, when it comes to memory, it's a little batty.
Yeah, looking at Hidden Potential, discovered how it just needed to be banned for the betterment of the Keller of the overall.
No, whoa! Don't go that far.
But yeah.
Don't go that far.
The problem with it is they have to respect it now, even though it's still at 1, because if you don't and you get it, oh god, all hell's gonna break loose.
Mm-hmm.
So
Green's actual thing now is about more about manipulating rested recovered status or suspended unsuspended status.
Yeah. Digisorption exists, but other than Argomon, it hasn't put it on a card in years.
Yeah.
I love how we've just talked about the growth of the card game by describing how the colors have started. Black's probably the worst, though. I always feel sorry for Black.
The problem with Black is
having
you only
a theme.
have 50 cards. Its toolbox is nuts. If we had side deck, Black would top everything. That's how nuts our toolbox
Black is a tank cover. Well, part of it is that you get, because of Digimon, having the franchise's existing thematic baggage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a lot of purple, black, red, and yellow.
Yep.
Because you get your machines, you get your holy stuff, you get your dragons.
Yeah.
And you get your dark spooky stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Blue is usually second protagonist color, but sometimes it isn't.
Looks at
and then they specifically made the main protagonist of Liberator a green bird thing because green literally did not have a single level 7 card until Quartzmon.
Yeah, that's a
because green is always like a tertiary character color, except for Terriermon.
You got Izzy and Kabuterimon, but that's something that I love, but like you guys said, also hate. So I think that's why the last couple sets people's been kind of weary of is, Agumon was red. Greymon goes Burr. He does plus security checks. He's the protagonist.
I think Agumon has now been in every color except blue. No, every color except blue. And Greymon is in blue.
Yes.
There is a Snow Agumon. So technically,
but that's not Agumon.
I know it's not actually Agumon, yes, but
Bandai likes to keeps its themes because that's like purple. Purple, if you look, most of those are quote unquote the villains of the franchise or the spookies and all that stuff, like you said earlier. And I think that helps the game, kind of but it also kind of stifles it. So this set where like you've got the old hybrids that were one color, and now the hybrid deck can be every color.
Just about, yeah.
Well, kind of. Each hybrid still has some color limitation, and they did some hilarious stuff to keep you from using the wrong tamer with some of them. the Koji or yellow.
Yeah.
Instead, so you can't use Tomoki? Tommy?
Yeah.
For blue
dub names. Just because most.
I usually instinctively use I usually have trained myself to use Japanese names for Digimon because the Japanese names are consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we have so many erratas in ours. Like, you can't use this. Well, why? Because it's a different name in Japan. So it worked there. It doesn't work here.
The whole Greymon thing.
Yeah.
The Greymon thing. There is one Garurumon that isn't a Garurumon. For the same in Frontier, they just made all of the first. They made a bunch of the names reference the adventure partners when they didn't originally.
Like Aldamon is burning Greymon now and stuff like that.
Ritramon is burning Greymon.
Yes.
Ardamon is Aldamon.
Yes.
But anyway. That, and also, I don't know how long you guys have been fans that were aware of this stuff, but the whole Kumamon debacle.
I don't think I know that. What's
I don't think I do either.
You know Bearmon from Digimon World 3?
Yes.
Was originally, when Digimon World 3 came out, they named it Kumamon.
Oh, okay.
And then when Frontier came out, they took the little snowy polar bear guy named Chakmon, and they named him Kumamon.
Kumamon, yes.
And this
Good thing neither one of these characters was popular or would ever show up in anything again.
Looks over at the cards.
Yeah.
This will never be an issue, guys. Don't worry about it.
Plus the confusion over the what level of Digimon is ultimate.
Oh, let's not forget about Sistermon.
That's a weird, dumb censorship that Bandai did without being asked, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, luckily it's not turned out problem now. I guess we should kind of go into that a little bit. Sistermon, there are 3 different types of Sistermon.
There's Blanc is a level 3/rookie/child.
Yes.
And then originally there were only 2 of them, and it was Blanc and Noir because that's how you do it, black and white. And Noir is a
none with guns.
It's an adult champion level 4. They both have powered up forms that are the same level because that was at a time when Digimon was moving away from caring about levels.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Sistermon Blanc is a junior nun in white and pink with a trident thing.
Mm-hmm. Stuff that's relatively inoffensive. They work for the Royal Knights.
But then Noir is a nun in black with guns shaped like a Tau cross.
Yeah.
And they thought that nuns with guns wouldn't... This is not the Americans asking for it. This is just Bandai thinking, maybe the Americans won't like this. So they released Sistermon Ciel in Cyber Sleuth. The Hacker's Memory combo pack as it's just literally a recolor.
I think
they recolor and they changed the ears on the hat.
Yeah.
From cat to mouse because
and they also did change the data type, the typing to data. She's not virus.
I'm pretty sure she's still virus in.
I'd have to look, but I'd need to pull up my PlayStation for that.
Anyway, but then later they made a Japan exclusive, or they made a actual Sistermon Ciel.
Mm-hmm.
Which has, instead of having the guns, has a katana.
Mm-hmm.
So in the card game, all of the Sistermon Noir cards released in the US are changed to Sistermon Ciel cards, and because of rules reasons, are both virus and data, and named both Noir and Ciel.
Mm-hmm.
Which is extremely obnoxious.
I mean, it could have been worse.
There's one Sistermon Ciel card it was actually released in Japan, and I forget what the rules for that one are.
No, it is actually Sistermon Ciel. It's not Noir. This is actually
right, but
Sistermon
I forget if that one also counts as Noir, just for symmetry reasons.
Not. It is just Sistermon Ciel.
Well, that seems like it could cause some confusion.
Yes, it could, and yes, it does.
No, surely not. I think that's... I don't know if it's player base. I really think the only thing that's killing... Well, not killing, because Digimon's actually grown a lot. I think what you guys just mentioned, what's hurting Digimon is not the IP, it's not the player base, it's the creators. It's Bandai. They are the ones that are causing... we couldn't get cards because it had Noir in it. We never asked for it. We're like, what do we care? A nun with guns? No. None of us care about that.
Bandai has done some really bizarre decision-making regarding the franchise in general.
Well, we've also had issues with supply. We're only getting single print runs of all the boxes because they're trying to get us to catch up to Japan. And we were already 6 months behind because of the BT5 delay.
And that's causing, for me, I have disposable income, but I don't have a ton. So it's just going to keep getting worse and worse because, Pokemon, Magic, most of the time we have print runs or set runs in months of 3, sometimes 2 with a subset.
And now to catch up they're making it even fat. They are combining 18, 19, 20 into 2 sets like they did in the first one, which I'm sure will have no results in any cards being particularly rarer than they pretend to be.
Screams internally about secret rare Metal Greymon.
Yep. But also they've been putting shit out so fucking fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're
can't
practically
buy it.
We're practically into the every month release now.
Yeah. Luckily, I think we have a reprieve until next month, post-Liberator. But, oh god. It was bad. And, the EX sets, if you don't have a local store, have fun getting those scalped off TCG
You'll never get them. Yeah.
Oh, well, even in the local shops. So, our shop, 17 came out. We had a winner case, and if the guy who won the winner case didn't sell them back to the store afterwards because he had already got all of his stuff, they wouldn't have had any 17 product at all.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, so he won it. He bought a case before that, and when he won it, he just sold it back to the store, so they had product.
Yeah,
And
that's
EX7, this past weekend, we did a pre-release event, and they only had 2 or 3 boxes left, I think,
yeah.
after the event.
Yeah, like I know there are some stores that you were basically drawing lots to be able to get a chance to buy boxes. And that's just boxes. Not
Yeah.
like buying a case or whatever.
Not an obscene amount, no.
Yeah. And it was only maybe a box or two if you won.
Yeah, they've got them limited for EX7 right now to 1 per person per day.
Yeah.
So somebody doesn't come in and buy everything out.
Yeah. Like before my locals closed, they got maybe a case.
That 17, they didn't even get a full case.
Mm-hmm.
They got shipped a box that had boxes taken out of it.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably wasn't supposed to be like that, but something quote unquote fell off the truck, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
But no, it fell into somebody else's order more like, but yes. You hope they didn't, quote unquote fall off the truck, because that's bad.
well, being in the southern region, Anderson, we won't get into politics about this, but MJ Holding and Anderson, they stock the big box stores and everything.
Yeah.
From my Pokemon collecting days back during COVID, when you couldn't even buy a pack of cards, it wouldn't shock me if they were sliding orders or doing things in that nature to make up for their money and things in that way.
Yeah.
And Bandai in general's screwing the pooch here.
Yeah.
It's bad. Because
my only hope is when we line up sets, we start getting reprint sets.
Well, I mean, we could hope, because Pokemon's not afraid to do that.
Oh yeah.
Pokemon will just be like, we're just printing
you'll get
money.
Your rare art cards, but like stuff that's meta integral, they come out in starter decks, on promos. You can get meta cards and not break your bank account, unlike looking at Yu-Gi-Oh! Yikes!
If it wasn't for the backlash that the community gave, we would have never even got the first reprint set.
Yeah.
Because they weren't going to print it.
And there are still people who are pissed about the reprint cards. Like, bro, most of us weren't able to get sets 1 to 4.
Yeah, and you can hardly get your hands on it now. So,
and like
nobody had a chance.
And it's one of those. It could have been worse. It could have been mostly pack filler, but no, it was all like meta integral cards, at least at that point. No,
there's still some cards from that or the original sets that are the best card for most decks.
Mm-hmm. Like you also got a reprint of the memory boosts in there.
Yeah, a lot of the early cards have been power crapped, but the ones that haven't.
I know you meant power creep, but it's not like you said power crapped, and it's still accurate.
It's still very
power crapped, like the past tense of power creep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mimi's still holding strong. She's hanging out there for a long time.
I actually found a couple Mimis I need to shove in my binder for bringing to the regional, because I know there are a few people who are looking to run green now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those, hey, you need Mimi? I have foil and non-foil.
See, I'm still worried with One Piece. One Piece, not only in, the manga, the anime, it's just so massive that I feel like Bandai, because Battle Spirits died.
Oh yeah, people are sitting here like, Battle Spirits are going to get a new set. No, everyone's believing it's ending with the Sandland set. The only reason really why it's coming out is because of Toriyama's death. They're looking to cash in on that.
And listen, put on your tinfoil hats here. The Battle Spirit, the last one that had the Gundam cards, in it, sold really, really well.
Yeah.
So it's really
like Gundams looking at the models.
And now Gunpla is so huge. That set and Bandai, someone over at Bandai headquarters was like, man, that set sold really well. Why do you think it is? And they're like, maybe we should make a Gundam card game. That sounds like a cash grab. And I mean, sadly, I'm one of those people.
All of these sound like they could have been cash grabs. Like, there's very much a world where they just make Yu-Gi-Oh a Pokemon, or not a Digimon, a Pokemon clone, even down to mechanics.
I hope they don't do
awful.
that.
Yeah.
The worst thing about Pokemon is the way it handles evolution.
Yeah. But
and I'm actually scared of that because, like we've said, Dragon Ball has been remade so many times by them. That was even a big rumor. Like, it became a point that we were like scared that it's like, man, what if they just rehash it? They're like, oh man, like, I'm still kind of wouldn't be shocked if we were in unison, 3 months into maybe the next year, and they're like, hey, we're just going to, swap it clean, start from scratch, relaunch it.
Yeah, all your cards are banned now. Buy new cards.
It sucks to say that, but I don't have a lot of faith in Bandai at all when it comes to that. I'll never get sponsored. The podcast will never be sponsored by Bandai.
We've had people from Bandai Namco on our sister show, Fragments of Silicon, but it's been a while.
Yeah. Those are also the game.
Yeah,
video
that's the game side.
Oh, don't worry, Mega Man card game's coming.
Yeah, but that's been made in universes. Well, what was it? The Universal Card Fight system? Like, they done had Mega Man and Street Fighter. What else was it? Tons of the Capcom games.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they got bought out and they tried the My Hero Academia. And that was fun to say the least. But
that was more of a deck builder than a TCG, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just saying, Bandai will make money.
Yeah.
They will. Like,
literally, Digimon's holding up, the Digimon card game is holding up the Digimon franchise right now.
What's the only content we've had besides the new movie? And then, I don't know if you guys heard, they're releasing the old movie, but we're going to have it on a special DVD with the 3 original.
They're bringing us back the cut parts from that were cut out for the 3 movies.
Yes.
And also the Monster Hunter V-Pets are coming out, but they're not coming out in English. If you want them here, you need to get them from a proxy service.
Yes, because V-Pets are so languaged.
There's so many words on that little screen, man.
Yeah.
Will they have Angelanda Kano?
No, they tried.
That was actually a question asked, and they're like, no.
Yeah, I knew that answer, because I'm like, that's split up between Disney and Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also...
Yeah, no, they did try, though.
Yeah, there was an attempt made, and they said no. Thankfully for the betterment of humanity. So yeah, I think I'm getting close to my questions. Do you have anything, Alex?
Not really. You already asked about like what kind of stuff you do on the podcast, so honestly, I'm mostly just I'm here to talk about it, but I'm not great at coming up with questions. So
yeah, that's what I'm here for.
They've been learning.
Yes. I guess my other question is, do you want an official sim?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I don't know why there isn't one.
It's Digimon.
It's digital monsters.
That has been my argument from the start. They should have been giving us QR code packs forever ago, like Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like, if you really want money, this is how you do it, Bandai.
Yeah, especially
watch
with
Pokemon.
Yeah. You allegedly ripped off Pokemon for Digimon. I know that's not actually the truth. They were like side-by-side development. They might have looked at each other's paperwork, but that's something they'll never expose either way.
Well, it's even sad because the first 4 sets we even had the card holder that had the card list in there, and I was like, man, this would be a perfect place for a code card.
Yeah, or like the memory thing on there.
The old memory gauges, the ones before we, actually bought memory gauges or had playmats with it on there.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's good. I honestly wish they'd do that again. Because,
you gotta buy the structure decks for
the starter decks don't
more
even have
money.
them now. I just got
that's true.
Endless Waltz and Guardian Vortex for me and my sister, and they don't even have those in them anymore.
So, those cards that do come in the structure decks, though, that have all the keyword
they're not
effects,
very good.
Yeah.
They're too short.
They were really, I didn't know they were in there, and when I saw them, it was pretty cool to be able to have a list of all the effects.
I am going to put that in my deck box for the regional, just so if somebody's like, this is what this keyword does.
The keyword checklist is arguably more useful.
Yes.
They made so many both official and fan playmats that have memory gauges built in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and really, if you don't, there's always just making a piece of paper and a die the line that goes from positive 10 to negative 10.
They put the memory gauge on the paper playmat now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably I preferred the card, but that's just me. But yeah, like the paper playmat, I just folded it out. It has the memory gauge and all that stuff on it. So, I mean, it's better than nothing, but yeah, I still just want an official sim, please, Bandai. I beg you.
On the other hand,
now, if they do
the fan sim is free.
Yes, Huang Zero and the crew that he has working on that have been doing a phenomenal job.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a bit buggy and there are missing features, but
they're also.
What's the saying? You get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Yeah, for them to not be making a single penny on any of it, I'm
sure they'd love to, but if they did, they would definitely
they
get
have a
C&D.
Patreon.
They would get C&D super.
Yeah, they're not making money off it directly. There's a Patreon that also can help Wong with video production, but it's not directly for Digimon.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been putting in work.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that I run across, I try to go in the Discord and report the bugs and that kind of thing. And there's a lot of people in the Facebook group that complain about bugs. And every time I see it, I just comment, "Did you report it?"
Yeah, like,
and they just want to complain, and I'm like,
see, the thing is, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I don't realize it's a bug until later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was me. Man, this card's busted. I didn't know it played like, and I'm like, oh, it doesn't play like that. That was a bug.
Because I've been running into a couple of those. Like, apparently Dexdor Goromon or Dexdor Greymon's not proccing its draw then trash right sometimes. So it's like,
yes,
I've been like, oh, and then look up their list. Like, oh, we know. Like, all right, cool. Hopefully it gets patched. And it's like, it sucks when you're getting ready for a regional and you don't have locals to play at. So it's like the auto sim working would be nice, but I also know it's basically being made for free as to not get C&D to hell and back.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I think that's it from me unless anybody else has any other questions.
Yeah. We're good.
I think that's pretty much it.
All right, so I guess your usual outspiel, Mac.
All right, guys. So remind everybody where they can find you and if you're making any appearances that you'd like to plug.
So you can find us on Spotify, all the podcast platforms, Security Check, Digimon TCG Podcast. You can find me personally on TikTok with all my Digimon TCG content at cardboard.mimic.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have a website, cataclysmicgamers.com.
You can also find Cataclysmic Gamers on TikTok. We don't post there as much as we probably should because me and Drew put most of our time, especially Drew, into our own personal TikToks.
Mm.
You can also find us at Cataclysmic Gamers on Twitch, YouTube. So that's another plug. We used to do games and stuff back when my original podcast got started. So we just kind of did an umbrella with that. But yeah, you can find us on there, and you can find me at Nightmares everywhere. It's just Nightmares with AYERS. It's a play on my last name. So.
Alrighty.
All right. Well, Andrew, Mikey, thanks for being on the show tonight. It was actually very entertaining. I just didn't have anything to say because I feel like I was too old to get into these games when they started.
Also, when it involves Digimon, either surface level or deep lore, just leave it to me.
Right. But I think
believe me, I restrained myself.
It was very interesting and informative, and we'll probably have to have you on again at some point in the future.
Sounds great.
All right.
Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely. Now, you are welcome to stick around for the news and entertainment segment. So that's another 15, 20 minutes before we wrap up. And that's it. Otherwise, Adam, Kevin, roll them.
Well, let me see. So something's going down at Sony. Kevin, can you elaborate on what the management changes over there mean?
Hold on one second. Let me bring it up because there was a shocking change at the top. Get the name
that's
right
what
here
I
and get all the
mean.
names. Yeah, I know. I'm just getting the story up here. So so there's going to be a change at the top of Sony Pictures Entertainment. Tony Vinciquerra is stepping down from being the CEO, effective on the 2nd of January 2025, and he is going to be replaced by Ravi Ahuja. I hope I said that right. If not, I don't know well. He is the current chairman of Global Television Studios and the president and COO of Sony Pictures Entertainment. He'll be taking over the CEO role. And this is apparently a succession plan that has been in the works for a while. Which, if the words succession plan sound familiar to you, it's because you probably heard a lot about succession plans over at another studio that haven't gone very well lately.
I think I should clarify. You mean succession, not secession, because they do mean vastly different things.
Right. I mean, succession. Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to
sorry,
clarify.
it's late. It's 1 in the morning over here. Sorry. Yeah.
Secession would be a schism in the studio. That would be a big problem.
Right. It's a succession plan. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, it's late. It's late.
So Brian Cox, not Jeff Daniels.
Yeah. Pretty much, yes.
Okay.
Suck, not cess. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah. So Sony has a succession situation here all lined up. Meanwhile, Disney's still trying to figure out what the hell it's going to do.
Well, Disney needs to get somebody competent in there before, Bob Iger either has some kind of mental breakdown or, just is no longer alive.
And funny enough here, the story apparently suggests that a label that is bound to be one of Sony's largest businesses in the next 2 years, Crunchyroll.
Oh boy.
So, yeah. So, because we all know, because that label is a guaranteed money producer at the very least, and auditorium filler. So.
Remember the days back when they were a free pirate anime site?
Mm-hmm.
We've come a long, long way from that one.
Now they rule the anime industry.
Yeah. Pretty much. So yeah. So there's going to be a change at the top at the House of the Torch Lady next year. Meanwhile, we're still waiting for whether at all Bob Iger will finally find someone that can take over for him so he can retire.
I mean, if they could just find somebody competent, that would be useful.
Yes, somebody competent who won't screw it up in 6 months.
They don't have to be evil. They don't have to be the wicked witch. Just competent.
But it would help.
Yeah.
That would help.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on at Sony.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of Disney, it's another round of the culling season. Both.
Boy.
No. I know the big one that everyone...
Because taking over the garden wall off the surface at the beginning of October is a brilliant move.
That was that did not happen.
Good.
But in regards to that content, we got to go over to Max first because
our good friend Max. Yes.
Yeah, because they have, for reasons unknown, delisted not just a bunch of cartoon series. They delisted some heavy hitters this time around.
Yep, they pretty much erased the biggest hits of the 2010s.
Not the biggest. Adventure Time's still there, but
Adventure Time still. But outside of Adventure Time, that's pretty much the last one standing.
Yeah, it's still stunning. Some of the names here because they got rid of Regular Show, Steven Universe, We Bear Bears,
Gumball.
The Ben 10 2016 edition. Like I said, this wasn't like the last time this happened where they got rid of the Cult Show. These are some of the most defining. These are some of the most defining program of the Cartoon Network's resurgent golden age.
Yep, 2010s. Yep. Mm-hmm. Pretty much a decade of hits right here.
Well, and unfortunately now Cartoon Network's basically dead.
They're not completely dead.
They're not dead, but
that's why we said basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not dead, they're more moribund, I would say.
There's somebody whistling suspiciously next to the electrical cord to the life support machine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is worth mentioning that these titles are still with Hulu. Like, all of the Cartoon Network stuff is still on Hulu.
Now, I think I might know why this probably is. And this is just pure speculation. I don't know if anybody knows this, but Disney Plus, Hulu, and Max are on a bundle now. And so, because of that, they probably have data that suggests that these shows are being watched more on Hulu than they are on Max.
I mean, in fairness, who all is really using Max?
Oh.
Well,
but they're not allowed to think that.
I mean, they keep taking stuff off of it, so I mean, there's not a lot of value left in it.
Yeah.
Right now, of course, this is is freaking wild because you're basically saying that you don't trust your own official streamer to stream your stuff anymore, but you have to because everybody's watching it on the Disney streamer.
Or they got paid more to do this.
Mm-hmm. It's probably both. It's both.
Possibly, I couldn't speculate, but one thing this isn't. This isn't lost media because
they still own
it's not
them.
Completely lost.
It's not like they're tax writing it off or stuff like that.
and it's also it's literally on another streamer.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
right.
It's
still, but it's still though. It's a case of Max is supposed to be your official streamer because you own the damn thing, but you've taken it off of that. And if I recall correctly, when they killed the Cartoon Network website, they pretty much either went to the app or to Max.
It redirects directly to Max now.
This kind of lends.
Does it?
Yep.
Well, there you have it.
This kind of lends credence to the discussion we had several weeks ago when we were talking about Netflix and the streaming industry in general, and the fact that the grand experiment of everybody having their own streaming platform and being able to sustain it has proven to be quite the hoax. And that the only companies that have the sheer magnitude, the heft, the heavy lifting capabilities to produce that much content and storehouse it are Netflix and Disney through Hulu, because of the fact that they were built, like Disney has absorbed so many studios and Netflix was built from the ground up for this. So I think that's what's basically happening, is that everybody is now relicensing their stuff to these two giants instead of trying to compete on their own 2 feet. That's my theory.
It's not just them. It's also the FAST, the Pluto TVs of the world, Tubies.
But
Tubi specifically, because they're also doing a lot of work with them too.
Right, but things built from the ground up basically to handle this stuff that they kind of took their time coming out with this and making it work. Whereas the old guard studio system wasn't really built for this, and we've had that discussion too.
Yeah. Speaking of Disney, they just pulled their own some of their own content, but most of it was, how do I put this?
Notably, the first 4 Indiana Jones movies, but as I pointed out on X, those were co-owned by Paramount, and they are available on Paramount Plus.
That was a licensing deal. The vast majority of what was pulled was National Geographic content. Wicked Tuna, which has about 1,000 seasons. Seriously, how has this show been going on for so long?
Because money.
The actual answer is because it's fucking cheap as shit to produce.
It's profitable by virtue of the fact that it exists.
Yeah. Or Locked Up Abroad. Narco Ward. I think only my mom will be upset that Narco Wars got pulled.
Oh, my lord.
Yeah, she really likes that Nat Geo shit. The one that's causing all of the anger and consternation is really Haley's on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
there's another one.
Yeah. And has been also canceled, but not a surprise.
Pretty much have resigned. That's not a surprise. A lot of people have resigned to that for a good amount of time. It was just finally officially confirmed that it's over.
Well, I think this is one of those shows that wasn't popular from the get going or something like that. I gotta admit, I have been paying zero attention to Haley.
I mean, honestly, this is probably a case of Disney not doing right by the show and not able to get off the ground because of that.
Yeah. Anyway, so in completely other news, I guess is the way to put it, a Cheers reboot is being pitched, but not here. Like, it's being pitched as, well, a British version. Which...
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? I mean, I don't think that's surprising. Like,
so
replace a bar with a pub. Like, come on.
Okay.
Honestly, I think the only shock is that they haven't even thought about it until now.
Yeah. Why now? The British pub is an endangered species, so there's an answer for why now about it. The attitudes of Cheers in the 80s are very different from the attitudes of today, so there's a massive amount of work to be done around taking inspiration from original characters, but creating something fresh. I'm like,
make it British. They can do it.
Right, but there's been a few stabs at doing the British version of an American sitcom, and I don't think it's ever taken.
Because our styles of humor are very, very different.
Well, no,
going the other way, it's worked.
No, it's because they didn't do that. No, it's because they use, like, I'm trying to remember what show it was, but I know that they used scripts from the American version. Though I think that's also happened in reverse, but it's just, they've Americanized it.
Yeah, Americanization of British shows have worked a lot better than the Britishing of American shows, let's say.
Because the British are, they're a fan of dour humor. Like, there's no way that a show like Steptoe and Son is getting popular with Americans.
Right, yeah.
So I think what's being said here is, you just can't transplant Cheers from a bar to a pub and call it a day. Even taking into account a time disposition, it's like they're very different things culturally speaking. Yeah. But honestly, it's an idea that could work. And honestly, it's something I'd watch over a straight up remake of Cheers, but for the modern day. Now, it's like we don't really need that. Like,
besides, they already remade Frasier, so they'd be down someone.
Yeah. Like, anyway, I think that'll about do it for the week.
Also, some of the stars of the original Cheers are dead, so there is that.
Yeah, that's
just make an AI recreation. I'll see myself out.
No,
don't give them any ideas.
Yeah.
As if they didn't already think about it.
Yeah.
Well, don't remind them.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. So does that wrap us up for this week?
It does.
Awesome. I feel like it's a pretty good episode, but next week should be pretty interesting as well. We're going to have Casey Cleese of Second Opinion Games, a brilliant guide through the history of game console, has a sweet Jaguar and Vectrix collection. Oh, somebody I can actually talk to.
My brother from another mother.
Yeah, like, he not only, like, he has a complete Jaguar collection. Like, all the games.
It's not that hard. There was only 65 games for the damn thing.
Well, when I say complete, I also mean, like, all the post-death stuff.
The homebrew. Oh.
Yeah. And has done reviews on all of the games. He also, not sure about the Jaguar CD stuff. But with Jaguar CD, it's less having a complete set because there's like 6 games there and more, having a working Atari Jaguar CD.
Just ask the angry video game nerd.
Oh, it's gotten even
15 years ago.
Yeah, it's not gotten any better. In fact, it's gotten much, much, much worse because of the just absolutely horrible build quality on that thing. So
it seems like the same 60 units are floating around eBay now, all broken.
Probably.
Oh man. Well, that still should be pretty interesting, and I think we'll have a lot of fun with that, and I look forward to it. And of course, in the run-up to the season finale on October 23rd, we're almost there.
Technically 25th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's a Friday show.
Yes. That's our brand Friday experiment with this thing.
Just send me a DM to remind me, because you know how chaotic my schedule is.
We know.
But I'm kind of glad that we're wrapping up before Thanksgiving, so that way we don't have to take a break before the break.
No, yes. Both shows will return in December.
Yep. All right.
Taking
Well, that's exciting. And that will be after the time change as well. So everybody remember to reset your clocks in November.
Fall back.
That's right. All right, folks, that's it for this week's episode of Moonhawk News Presents. Again, special thanks to our guests, Andrew McDaniel and Mikey of Security Check and Digimon TCG Podcast. Check them out on Spotify and wherever your fine podcasts are purveyed. Until next time, I'm your host,